here to man the ship for us. And Natasha is going to walk us through kind of some of the introductory steps. And then from there, we can just answer any questions you have and see, I don't know, Natasha, if we'll have to have the whole hour, but we might get lucky and get some time back today. We'll see.
Yeah, very much. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Like Dana said, my name is Natasha Telger. I'm with the Illinois workNet team. Another name that you'll hear quite often is he's not on this call today, but it's David Garvey. So between the two of us, we can hopefully answer any questions that you have. Today, we're just trying to provide some introductory information about the CEJA reporting system. And so I'm just going to briefly go over the partner guide so you know where to find information, and then do a quick overview of the reporting system and some next steps. So I have the PowerPoint, which I can send to you, which is, it's pretty minimal at this time, but at least it gives you some something to have in your hands, as well as some website URLs so you can access the guides and so forth. So with that, I'm going to show you how to access the partner guide. So you go to illinoisworknet.com, and then at the top, there's a section that says partners. And then on the partner side, you'll know that you're on the partner side because it's a different color. Plus, this changes so you can flip back over to the user side. As you scroll down, we have a variety of tools available to the partners, but the ones that we're going to focus on today are the program guides for partners. So you'll see we have several of them here. I'm going to click on the one that is specifically for returning residents. I just want to kind of briefly go over the different resources that are available, and these will be updated as we continue to move forward with making some customizing the system for the returning residents program. We have policy documents. We have where you can access the reporting system, a link to this. Quick start guides. Again, this is the link to access the dashboard. We have a section here for policies and procedures, and it's organized by chapter. So you can scroll down through or jump down to a specific section. We have instructions and then related resources. We also have the technical assistance area where we have a listing of the different upcoming webinars. With a link to the Zoom meetings where you can either enter or register. And then we'll keep the recordings and anything if you weren't able to attend or you just wanted to look back on it, those will be available in the archive section. And then as we move forward, once we release those returning residents tools and give you access, then you'll have a place where anytime there's updates to the system, you'll be able to see those as well in the update section. We have at the bottom a quick start guide. And so the quick start guide gives you the high level bits and pieces of information, some real simple steps. And then as you go through these, there's videos that are available. And then we'll continue as policy available to add links to the policy page as well. So this section right here is related, and organized more so as far as the reporting system, how you work through the reporting system. But if you want to go like directly to the procedures manual, again, it's easily accessible from this page as well. Okay, so with that, I'm going to jump into the test system. You'll know we have this called UAT. UAT stands for user acceptance testing. It's called our testing or our training area. And the information in this area is overridden every night. So you can go in there and you can practice and play around. And then tomorrow, you can go in there and use the same credentials, same people to play around with because um, it would be overwritten. Uh, but at least it gives you a place where you can get access to these tools and to kind of, touch and feel and see how you might want to incorporate, at least consider the different resources that are available within the reporting system as you're thinking about your workflow and who needs to have access to the system. That's kind of what our uh, intent is today, is to give you that overview, little sample of what the system offers, but then at the end of this session, we can send out the instructions or link to the testing instructions so you can actually go into the system yourself and play around. Okay, so when we first are setting up your system, we will go into a place called the grantee details. It's in the provider area. We'll work through this with you at the beginning whenever you're getting set up, but just to kind of give you a heads up as to what information is in the system. So this is at the grantee level. So we have minimal information. You can put your grant number in there. But the main thing with this area is this is where we will work with you to identify the services that are needed that you need to have in here that are associated with your grant. So there will be basically an approved list of services for the returning residents, and then we can use that list and customize it for you in this area. The next area is called training programs, and I'll go ahead and show you one that's already in the system for this test person. Whenever we enter the information, you can either search from this private business vocational schools or we approved training program, or you can just enter the information if it's in either one of these searches. If you use one of these searches, it pre-populates the information with what we already have in the system. But like I said, if you have a training program that's not in either one of those, just choose the option to submit a training program for approval. And we'll have your program name, description, the provider name, um, location information, and then we can put in there the zip code and SOC code and NAICS codes that are related to that training program. And we'll work with you to do all this. We have the baseline requirements that you can enter in if you desire. Provides information about what's needed really for if you're going into the occupations that training program trains for. And then the next one is the associated credentials. So I'll show you in just a little bit that we have a standard set of credentials that are, associated with a CEJA program, and they're hard coded into services, so you can identify when an individual receives those credentials. If you have additional credentials, you can add them at this time. And so you put in the credential name, the type, owner, description, and these other ones are optional. But then you can identify the participant of this program. Either they earn the credential upon successful completion, or it prepares them to earn that credential. And so Once all this information is in the system, then we'll have the RAs review and approve it. So we'll give this an approval, approved for the credential, and then they'll approve the overall program. And the reason why I'm showing you this is some of this information that we enter in whenever we help you get set up within the CEJA reporting system is also used to give you options to choose from whenever you're entering services. So it helps to minimize data entry because you can just pick it instead of having to enter the information. Okay, so that was the grantee or provider information area. Now I'm going to say that you've logged into your Illinois WorkNet account, you've clicked to access the programs, and you'll see on this screen if you have multiple programs, like if you're in Illinois Works or JTED or something like that, you'll see them here. But what we're talking about today for the returning residents program is the CEJA, FEJA programs. And when you come to this page, you're going to default to the customer information. So I am going to show you how to add a customer. Let me come over here to my generated names here. So we're going to enter Robert Buckley. And we have added the feature in here so that you are not required to enter an email address. So you select no email address. Don't put anything in the email, just click no email address. And then there's going to be an inquiry. And then you select the organization. If you're with multiple organizations, then you'll see, that are specifically to the CEJA program. Then you'll see the different options here, but most people just see one. So you select who you're entering this person as, with which organization. You'll have a consent. So you read the consent to the person, and then you can identify if they need any accommodations. If you say yes, you can put in here what type of accommodations are needed. If you say no, it's not required. You'll notice that now, even though you said no email address, there's an email address in there. And that's because what the system does is we only allow, you have to have an email address to have an account within Illinois WorkNet. And what this does, it takes the first and last name and generates a fake email that's unique to this person. So you just go ahead and leave that where it is. And then you put their date of birth. And you'll answer just a couple questions. Are you interested in the construction building trades? Are you interested in clean energy? If so, what areas interest you? Are you interested in applying for an apprenticeship program? Um, and then do you think that you'll be able to commit the time that's required for this project? Then you enter demographic information, enter veteran status, high school diploma status, and then you'll see that some of these areas enter with either yes or no, and they're if you can see, differentiate between these colors, you'll see that yes is green, no is red. There are some here that are going to have a spinning wheel, and that's because those are used for other programs, and we don't ask those questions for the returning residents. So you don't have to worry about that because down here, we still have all the checks that say what this person could be eligible for. And since you're logging in with returning residents, your option is going to be returning residents. You can say this person is either meets the pre-screening requirements and they don't want to participate, or you can say they meet the pre-screening requirements and they're interested. So that's what we're going to go with. And then we'll just say we'll put the pre-screening date as the 17th. And it's going to take the information that's in the pre-screening and populate it in these fields. And then we are going to just retype this to confirm the email. All right. Robert E.C.K. Oh, my L and my Y are backwards. And then what it does is search for existing applicants. And whenever we do that, what the system is doing is it's looking for existing Illinois WorkNet accounts. And so for most of your people, if you don't have the email address in there, it's not going to, because we have minimal information, it's not going to make an account, sync up with an existing account unless you use their previous email. Otherwise, if it can't find an Illinois WorkNet account, then it's going to create a username and password for you. So, you could write this down. If you don't write it down, it's not a big deal if the person wants to get into their account later on, because since you have access to them in the system, you'll be able to look up their username and you'll be able to reset their password when that time comes. So we're going to move forward and complete the application. And there's only a few more pieces of information that's collected at this point. One of them is, do you have a social security number? If you say yes, then you put the number in there and confirm it. If you say yes, but I don't have my card, you don't have to enter the social security number. And if you say no, you don't have to enter the social security number. Regardless of how you answer the question, it doesn't impact whether the person is eligible for the program or not. You can move forward. What were you assigned? What sex were you assigned on your birth certificate? How do you currently describe yourself? Are you authorized to work in the U.S.? Again, these pull through from the pre-screening, and then the other item that's a little bit different from the other CEJA applications is your MSR date at the date of the application. So we're just going to select a date here and then save and go to the next page. And so it takes the information and checks to determine eligibility. We know in this situation they're eligible, but the only thing it really checks at this point is the age requirement. So once you do that, you can continue on to intake. You have your application here, and then to sign as an applicant, what you can do, I'm assuming for this is probably the most, I'm making an assumption that most people would use this in this situation is upload a signed application. So you can click upload signed application. Let me just find my test document here. I can upload it. And I think I said that the date was 4/17/2025. Yeah, it's right there. And I can upload the signed document, and it will have that the applicant's name and the date. And then as a case manager, I could just use my own username and password. I think I'm going to use Monica Jones and sign it. And then I'll have the date that, I signed it and entered it into the system as well. And then so we can go back to intake. we so the pages are set up so we have intake, and then we'll have career plan, which is where you document your services. We have a section for referral that's general for the overall program, and then a program completion and follow-up. We also have case notes section, and as you go through the system, you'll be prompted to add case notes, but the system will also automatically generate case notes too. So whenever it changes from one status to another, some of those trigger automatic case notes. So you can look at those at any time there. And you can also see them under this program summary tools. I mentioned before that you'd be able to reset their password. So whenever you're looking at this person, you could see their username and reset their password when that time comes. Then we have a career assessment. And the career assessment, if you are in some of the other CEJA programs, has been modified a little bit just to simplify it, not ask some of the employment questions. So you have your assessment date. Some jobs have lifting requirements. Please indicate if you're able to lift a certain amount. And same thing with standing requirements. You have a listing of career goals. You can select a primary career goal, secondary. You can choose which areas that this person might be interested in as far as an occupation and pursuing those careers, and then save this. And so you can save multiple career assessments in this area. We also have a service needs assessment, and the service needs assessment talks about accommodations, technology assistance, transportation, childcare, housing, food, healthcare, legal, financial literacy, mentorship. This is application fees for apprenticeship programs and other support services. So you can go through that as well. And then the next area shows their status. So they completed the application. So their status is applicant, or oops, didn't mean to hit that. And you can add that there. If you have any signed agreements, you can upload that at this time as well. This next section talks about the career plan and how, like what's the process of using the career plan, and that the customer has the opportunity to look at it, if they were to have access to the internet in that section, it's available to them through their Illinois WorkNet account. I am going to just switch over to the career plan section, which is where you're going to document services. We just have a sampling of, this is basically what's currently in like Climate Works and Workforce Hubs. So we do have to do a little bit of customization. We are going to be doing that very soon for the returning residents, but this at least gives you a little bit of a sampling of what to expect whenever coming to the career plan. So the career plan will be pre-populated with some goals. It'll be pre-populated with probably at least a step or two steps. And you can, access this through this main page. When you go through this process up here, it's set up as the view that you would see versus the customer is you would see, this is what I consider like the builder view, whereas if the participant was to log into their account, they would see more of just like this view. So it's set up this way so that You can take a look at any assessments that the individual has. You can update, there are a few assessments that are available within Illinois WorkNet, but then you can also add additional assessments here if you like. You just type in a keyword. If the assessment's not already in the system, then it'll have you proceed with adding um, information about that assessment. So you're able to use that. Once you have the assessments, you can go ahead and work with the individual to set goals. And so we do have some general goals set up here, but you can, um, update these. Uh, I don't know. You can update it to whatever you discuss with the individual, and then you can save the changes, and that will be one way that if you want to customize it for the individual, you can update those goal statements. And then the next step is to add steps. So you can click to add steps, or if you just wanted to go to straight to the section for adding steps, you can go to step 3. And the steps that are pre-populated by the system will already be in here, of course, and you can just simply go in and edit that step by clicking the little pencil, and it's already associated with a goal. You could change it to started, and we'll go ahead, since we said the 17th was the application date, I went ahead and put the 18th, and then I'll put my plan completion date is later on in the average weekly hours for this particular service. Then I can go over to the service provider section, and I can select a provider. And this is where what we did in the very, very first step was add in the training provider. So I can say, oh, we're with this location, and we're going to use the wind energy provider, and then update my service. And you are prompted to put a case note in here. We're just going to save it as a case note. And so you have a message that this has been successfully completed. If you're playing around in the system and you mark something to successful completion, it'll tell you that you have to have a post assessment in here that's higher than the passing score. So we'll get into all those details when we go into like more of the in-depth training, but I just want to kind of give you a high level. So if you're in the system, playing around, you'll notice that there are different requirements for some of the different services. So let me go back to intake, because this is an example of an update that happens automatically in the system. So previously you noticed that the status was application or applicant. And once I started a service, then the system automatically marks them as enrolled. And as an example of that, you can see, you have a record of when somebody goes from application to enrolled and when it happened and who did this. So the other thing is, as you go through and add people, you'll have what we call the progress page. And this is updated every evening as the group for the entire group of people. But if you go in and you make updates, hit refresh status, then those updates will be reflected on this page. Okay. And so the very last thing, just to kind of give you a heads up on what to expect, is we have the outcomes. And so we have a training completion status outcome, and In order to be able to mark this as complete or withdrawn, all of your training services need to be updated. So if I try to mark this as complete, hit save, it's going to say, nope, you have to update those. So right now it's in progress. And so we have training completion status and then program completion status. So when they have their training is complete, they can still receive other services, but once they are marked as exited, then they're done and they don't receive services. We have transition outcomes that can be added here. And then we have a place for follow-up case notes. You can see all the earned credentials that they've earned and then have the ability to add success stories. So this is the super high level, a very quick overview of the tools that are in the reporting system. There are a few updates that are still in progress that you'll see that will be coming out related to returning residents. But for the most part, the system uses the same set of tools across all of the CEJA programs. I went over that really quickly. Do you have any questions so far? All right. Well, one of the things that as a follow-up, let me find my document here. Where are you? Here it is. I'm going to, where we can send this out or have Michelle send it out. Um, this is, I haven't posted the username and the password here on the screen because this recording will be available on our webpage. But whenever we send this information out, you'll have the username and the password. We have a login here for this UAT system. We do ask that, oh, I need to change this one, but we have first name, last name, different um, people down here that whenever you're doing this, if you wanted to just put like, if I'm playing in the system and I'm adding these people, if you just want to put your initials or put an X or something like that, so other people that might be working in the system also know that, these people are being used and don't enter them into the system, then you can do that. Again, this information will only be there up through each night, and then it's replaced by what's in our staging system. So you can feel free to, go in there. You're not going to break it. You can go ahead and put your information in there. Just don't enter real people information in there. And then so we have links to instructions. And then if you have any questions, we have a space right here where you can just type in some questions, because if you have those questions, then other people probably have those questions as well. And it gives us a place to, as you're working in the testing or the training area, we can see what those questions are and respond to them. So any questions?
No questions, but I just have a comment. I mean, this is a really, really good system. I'm glad I'm connected to these trainings to be able to learn about it. I dealt with Illinois WorkNet in the past, but never in this way. So really thankful for getting this information, and I appreciate the training. Look forward to obtaining this PowerPoint to refer to later on.
Okay, great. Yeah, and so again, this is super fast, super high level. The idea is just so that you know what tools are already in the system so that whenever you're thinking about your workflow, or even if you have any questions, or how do I handle this situation, or this is my situation, how do we do that? We can start those conversations early and also to help us better identify or help us identify the people that actually need to have access to the system and who'll be doing data entry. And so again, get in there, play around, know that we're going to be making some updates, and um, and then whenever we get closer towards the end of May, we'll actually get you set up in the production system. So, all right. Thank you, Diana. Did you have any closing comments or?
No, thank you, Natasha. I appreciate the high level run through. I know we are going to be meeting again as a team to, share what the reporting documents will look like, and everybody on the CCWT team will work with Michelle to like get the work plan going. So we are inching further and further down the road. I appreciate everybody's time. And if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to Michelle or Natasha if they're system questions. Um, Otherwise, Michelle will send this link out and the information that Natasha shared as far as next steps and follow up to get you guys in there and practicing with the system. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.